Welcome to this lab. In this lab, we are going to learn creating a data transformation pipeline with Cloud Dataprep. In this lab, you will learn how to perform this task: connect BigQuery dataset to Dataprep, explore dataset quality with Dataprep, create a data transformation pipeline with Dataprep, and finally run transformation job and send output to BigQuery. Let's start with task 1. Open Dataprep in Google Cloud Console. So I already opened the Cloud Shell. You can just go to your Cloud Console and then click on Activate Cloud Shell. You will see the same screen I have, but I bring it to a different browser. Start with the setting the project ID. Okay, so after that we will create the service identity. You can see it's created. Choose view all the products. Look for the analytics and click on Alteryx Designer Cloud. So let's agree and accept. Yep, allow. And then click allow again. Continue. Allow. Okay, so click the checkbox and click accept. And then click continue. Okay, moving on to task 2, creating a BigQuery dataset. Although this lab is largely focused on Cloud Dataprep, you need BigQuery as an endpoint for dataset injection to the pipeline and as a destination for the output when the pipeline is completed. So this is what we're going to do: import the raw data set from the raw data and then use the Cloud Dataprep by Trifecta, do the explore, clean, enrich, and then finally analyze and store report in the Google BigQuery. So we will go back to the Cloud Console. If you don't see your BigQuery, you can type it over here. Okay, so it will bring up your BigQuery command. And then from here we will create a new data set, call it e-commerce, leave everything other values their default and create the data set. And now we will paste this command here. We will create a table called all sessions row data prep, and then select everything from the data to inside e-commerce all session row table where the date is this. Let's run it. Okay, go back to the data prep and we will come back to this, create a new flow. And you can rename the untitled flow and specify this detail. The flow name will be e-commerce analytic pipeline. Okay, and the full description is a revenue reporting table. Click OK. We will start with the connect to your data. Click on the import data set and then choose BigQuery. When your e-commerce data set is loaded, click on it and then click on the create data set on the left and then click on this plus sign to add it. Then from here click on the import and add to flow button. The data source automatically update. You are ready to go to the next task. Okay, so you see the data set over here. In the task 4, we are going to look at exploring e-commerce data field with the UI. Come over here, click on the recipe icon and then select the edit recipe. So the Cloud Dataprep loads a sample of your dataset into the transformer view. This process takes a few seconds. Now you are ready to start exploring the data. How many columns are there in the dataset? The answer is 32. It's listed at the bottom at the status bar here. How many rows does the sample contains? It's around 12,620 rows. What is the most common value in the channel grouping? As you can see, is organic search, referral, direct, and the paid search. What does the gray bar under the total transaction revenue represent? So the answer is a missing value for the total transaction revenue field. This means that a lot of sessions in this sample did not generate revenue. Later we will filter out this value so our final table only has customer transaction and associated revenue. So what is the maximum time on site in seconds? If you click here, go to column details, you will see the maximum page view and the maximum session quality dimension for the data sample. So the maximum time on site is this number here. So you can close the details page by clicking the cross. After the exploration, in some dataset you may find duplicative or duplicated columns. We will be using product quantity and product revenue fields instead and dropping the item quantity and item revenue fields later in this step to prevent confusion for our report user. What percentage of transaction ID values are valid? What does this represent for our e-commerce dataset? So you can click here and click on column details. Answer is 4.6%. So about 4.6% transaction ID have a valid value, which represent the average conversion rate of the website. 4.6% of visitors transact. Task 5, cleaning the data. In this task, you will clean the data by deleting unused column, eliminating duplicate, creating calculated fields, and filtering out unwanted rows. So we will convert the product SKU column data type. To ensure that the product SKU column type is a string data type, you will need to convert it. Go to select the drop down, click on the change type, and change it to string. Yep. And also verify the first step of your data transformation pipeline was created by clicking the recipe icon. Yeah. So this is the action you have just taken. If you are seeing the recipe is locked, select the recipe and click the edit and uncheck the option to lock the column type. Click on the item quantity. We don't need this, so we can click here and delete. Yeah, it's removed. And we will repeat the same process for item revenue. Click on delete. Now we will deduplicating the row. Your team has informed you that there may be duplicate session value included in your source data set. So let's remove this with the new deduplicate step. Click on this filter rows icon and click on remove duplicate row. And click add in the right hand panel. Review the recipe that you created so far. Yep, these are the right steps. And next we are going to filter out session without the revenue. So go to the total transaction revenue column and click on the gray column. So all the rows with the missing values are now highlighted in red. In the suggestion panel, in the delete rows, click on add. So this step filter your data set to only include the transaction with revenue, where the total transaction is not now. So the next one is we will filtering the session for page view. The dataset contains sessions of different types, for example, page for page view or event for trigger events like view product category or added to cart. To avoid double counting session page view, add a filter to only include page view related hits. So in the histogram below the type column, click the bar for the page And then all the rows with the type page are now highlighted in green. In the suggestion panel, in the keep row, click on add. So task 6, enrich the data. Search for your visit ID and read the description to determine if it is unique across all the user session or just user. Visit ID and identifier for this session. This is part of the value usually stored as the UTMB cookie. This is only unique to the user. For a completely unique ID, you should use a combination of full visitor ID and visit ID. Click on the merge column. So for the column, select full visitor ID. And the visit ID. For the separator, type a single hyphen. For the new column name, we will call it unique session ID. Right click on add. The unique session ID is now a combination of the full visitor ID and visit ID. We will explore in a later lab whether each row in this data set is at the unique session level, one row per user session, or something even more granular. Now we will create a case statement for the e-commerce action type. As you saw earlier, values in the e-commerce action type column are integers that map to actual e-commerce action performed in that session. For example, 3 equal to add to cart or 5 is equal to checkout. This mapping will not be immediately apparent to our end user to let create a calculator field that brings in the value name. So let's click on the conditions in the toolbar and then click on case on a single column. For the column to evaluate, specify the e-commerce action type. I have finished. Enter all the condition value and the new column name is this one. And now I click on the add. So we will adjust the value in the total transaction revenue column. As mentioned in the schema, the total transaction revenue column contains the value passed to the analytics multiplied by 10 to the power of 6. You now divide the contents of that column by 10 to the power of 6 to get the original value. So you will open the menu to the right of your total transaction, clicking the calculate, and then select custom formula. And for the formula, you will type in this, and for the new column name, this is the one. And click add. So for this new column, we were going to change the type to decimal. Now you can review the full list of steps in your recipe, and no problem, then we will click run. Right here we will choose the data flow and BigQuery. Under the publish action, we will select the create CSV, and in the following page, let's add the actions here. We will select the BigQuery and then select the e-commerce, and we will create a new table, call it revenue reporting. Okay, call this revenue reporting, and then select drop the table every run, and then click on update. And then click on the run. We'll just leave it to run. So we are at the publishing stage now. Okay, it looks like it's done. Now we can check whether the new table already exists. So let's refresh this. Yep, I can see it now. revenue reporting. For example, let's click to see the data inside. Awesome. The data is now loaded into this table. Thanks for watching. You can end the lab.